All right, what's good, YouTube? Long time no talk. The Shore back here. I've been back playing some games again. I know it's been another gap, but honestly, I really try to give Call of Duty my best shot. I felt like I wasn't really feeling it, so I started to play Destiny 2 again, actually in my free time recently, with a little bit of free time that I get these days, and I've actually been enjoying it a lot. But Destiny 2 does have a lot of ups, especially recently. There's been a lot of fun stuff to play on that. I've really been enjoying the new content they've been putting out, but there are a few downs as well, and I'm just trying to get caught up on what I've missed out on so far because I was gone from this game for a few years before I came back. So uh, I'm watching this video from Charlie's Cafe just to sort of get caught up on what I've missed. This is a guy who played Destiny 2 for like the whole 9 years, I guess, that it's been out, or Destiny in general, for 9 years straight since it's been out. And I just wanted to hear his perspective on everything because he literally has not stopped playing this entire time. So yeah.
Today, I decided to take a break from talking about Nintendo Mario stuff and instead talk about a totally unrelated FPS MMORPG called Destiny.
Specifically Destiny 2, a game that I have over 2,000 hours in.
And what do I have to show for it? Complaints.
No game is perfect, but it isn't until you play thousands of hours of a game that you realize just how not perfect it is.
So before you do decide to jump into Destiny 2, here's what's in store for you.
Disclaimer, I'm a complete idiot and have no clue what I'm talking about, so please do not treat any of this senseless rambling as meaningful or valuable. Unless you agree with it, then I was dead serious.
I meant that shit.
After playing for 9 years and thousands of hours, I have never made a friend playing this game.
Off to a good start.
Sure, it takes some effort to make friends, but to not make any after 9 years of playing should take even more effort. I type in chat and PvP, I've done LFGs, I've added people as Steam friends, but we never really feel like playing together. Why?
I mean, I will say, I feel like I don't really have a problem making friends on this game. I feel like the only thing I do have problem with is getting on the same schedule as everyone else. And sometimes like I'll join people's clans and then we just never really have a time for us to link up to play together. So I do realize that, but yeah, for the most part, I don't really think it's that tough to meet people on here.
Well, I typically have a bunch of boring stuff that I need to do and they don't, and vice versa. Playing boring stuff with a friend can be fun, but not so much if it's somebody you've only just met. The best way to play Destiny 2 is with friends that you've already made from somewhere else, because, simply put, Destiny 2 isn't a great friend-making environment, in my opinion. Not because the community is toxic, but because the game is. You may argue against this, since it is in your best interest to have friends in this game. You'll need them for raiding or high-end PvP, but me and many other players instead choose to do what they can alone rather than struggle to make friends. I have put myself out there many times, but the anxiety was never really worth it.
For example, one day I decided I was going to do a raid, so I signed up for a group finder and found a group.
We were going to do the very first raid in Destiny 2, which is also obviously the lowest level.
It took 6 hours.
Here's the thing, raids ultimately have nothing to do with your level, your gear, your shooting skills, or anything else.
I think the longest I've ever like stuck with a team in a raid that was having trouble was like 4 hours, and we finally got it done. I think we ended up swapping out like 3 or 4 different teammates from people who left along the way, and yeah, that's about as long as I would give it. Like 6 hours or however long you said. Like that's insane.
You've been building up thus far. No, the endgame PvE activity is all about confusing communication puzzles. You look at this guy
Right.
and have to remember the symbol and tell the other person in the alternate dimension which symbol it is, and then punch him or something. I don't even remember, but it has nothing to do with shooting or looting.
Fact.
Here you are, a talented musician with hundreds of renowned works under your belt. But to become a true master and get your music master degree, you must balance this piano on your finger for 20 minutes. Yes, I want to make friends, but I don't really feel like playing the telephone game with a bunch of strangers that are only playing with me because they want gear at the end, and whenever I mess up, I'm keeping them in an activity that they didn't want to be playing in the first place. This is an awful environment for making friends.
Okay, so imagine Mario Party, a game already known for destroying friendships. Then imagine there's a cash prize and you're playing with strangers. somebody's going to get shot.
Bungie is an environmentally conscious company, so they have decided to keep Destiny 2 environmentally friendly by reducing, reusing, and recycling their content. Remember this gun? Here it is again. Hey, remember when it came back?
He's really making a good point right now. I do just want to say really quick, if you guys are hearing any like random like yells or screams in the background, my baby is having a bath right now and he's having a great day so far. So he's a little amped up right now. Sorry.
Well, here it is again. Wow, thanks. I remember when I had that. Matter of fact, I'm still using it. To give you an idea of how bad this has gotten, here are some hand cannons. And here are some shotguns.
Wow.
I'm not even arguing that every weapon should have a unique model, but it's pretty disappointing when a new hand cannon comes out and it looks like Better Devils from year one. There's a lot I could talk about in regards to Bungie's content hamster wheel, but I'll just tell you about
The craziest part about all of this to me is just the fact that, I mean, the game is about aliens and people using magic in space and having all of these powers. You literally have a limitless wheel of things that you can like make into weapons, and like infinite ways you can make your weapons look, just because of the fact that, you know, this is like this is aliens. These are things that we've never seen before. So to see you just put the same like skin or different skin onto the same content is kind of crazy, and I kind of see where that complaint comes from.
particular incident that I'm not too fond of. Back in 2020, I think, a DLC released called Beyond Light. This added some cool ice magic and an ice planet and other ice-related things. I thought that this was one of the best DLCs to date. The added mechanics were cool, the weapons were pretty good, I liked the raid, the story sucked, which for Destiny standards is actually really good. But there was one little issue. They removed like half of the content that the game had accumulated. Hundreds of weapons had their power locked at the floor, and several planets were removed entirely, bringing their campaigns and gear with them. Now, Bungie saw this as a sort of weight loss surgery. The only issue is that the game was actually anorexic, and they removed its legs. But don't you worry, that content will be back with a vengeance and a price tag.
I was about to say.
Back in 2013, Destiny released, and it was not free to play, but rather $60. Alright, not a great price point for a game that was relatively barren without DLC. But don't worry, DLC would release. Dark Below for 20, and then House of Wolves for 20. These could each be completed in about 2 hours, but you're really buying them for the gear and activities tied to them. Then Taken King, a big DLC for $40. Then Rise of Iron for $35, because I guess it's $5 less good than Taken King. And then Destiny 2 releases, and it too is $60. Then Curse of Osiris and Warmind, each for $20. After that, we got another big DLC, Forsaken, for $40. Then Shadowkeep, a very poorly rated DLC, for $30. And as this DLC launches, a new seasonal content model does.
And you can you start to see why this was part of the reason why I had sort of stepped away from the game, is I was feeling like it was kind of getting repetitive. And since I didn't use like things like LFGs to find groups of people or anything like that, I was just playing the same old strikes with like random people every day. So I got kind of bored of it, and I didn't want to keep putting money into the game just to get the content and stuff like that. But now I feel like the stuff that they've been putting out recently has been, for the most part, like worth the price.
Does too. From this point, Season 9, until today, Season 20, a battle pass of gear, materials, cosmetics, and boosters is released every few months for $10 per season. Then Beyond Light launches for $40. The next expansion is a bit of a controversy, Witch Queen. Now, this retails for $40, but if you buy the deluxe edition for $80, twice the price, you get 2 extra dungeons and some cosmetics and stuff. The problem is, dungeons have never been deluxe content. They are some of the highest quality pieces of late game content and have always been included with the already highly priced DLC.
And since I've been gone for a few years, I've either totally forgot that or never knew that in the first place. So to start off a certain way and to promise your consumers a certain thing and then to switch that up, obviously, isn't really cool.
Now you need to get that premium deluxe extra cheesy version if you want to actually play the DLC. Otherwise, you're basically playing a demo. But aside from that, the DLC gets good reviews and people like the story for some reason. Then a tragedy happens, the release of the currently newest DLC, Lightfall. The standard edition is now $50, a new record high for Destiny DLC. But wait, there's another version for $100, and it's got dungeons.
So in my book, Lightfall is a $100 DLC, which also has a cheaper, handicapped $50 version.
Well, at least it's good, for 33% of reviewers. The chief complaint here is the story.
Okay, if Destiny players are saying the story is bad, I think you're in the wrong industry.
But I actually forgot to mention one expansion. In December of 2021, Bungie had its 30th birthday. And as a birthday present, Bungie demanded 25 USD in exchange for some cool stuff. The main features here were a dungeon, which was very broken, and I think still is, and a weapon, the Gallarhorn. Now, those of you that don't play much Destiny might be confused because you probably recognize this gun. This is sort of like the Destiny rocket launcher. Well, it was in the first game, and now, to celebrate this milestone with the community and everything we've been through, it can be yours again for only $25. So how much has a Destiny veteran paid so far? Adding up the price of every DLC, with the two most recent being deluxe editions since they include vital content, and adding all 12 paid season passes since they include essential content as well, we come out at $710 US. Plus tax, it's well over $750. That's enough money to buy 116 pounds of Swedish fish, or 168 gallons of Dr. Pepper, or you could buy a laptop.
I mean, anybody who's going to take the time to sort of equate your dollars to Swedish fish and Dr. Pepper, I mean, if that doesn't deserve a sub, I mean, I don't know what does.
Top or something, but still, that's a lot of money to invest without getting a single Swedish fish in return. Oh, and they also got $3.6 billion when they were acquired by Sony. Later that year, they monetized Halloween.
Who's the CEO again? Hitler? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hitler.
But hey, at least you got to experience some cool campaigns before they were banished to the content vault. Destiny 2's story sucks. There are countless holes in plots and weird caveats that don't really need to be there. No character development, no risk. The only campaign that felt like it had real weight was the base Destiny 2 campaign, which had high stakes and almost decent characters and a fantastic soundtrack.
But it's gone now. That's right, you can't play the Destiny 2 campaign in Destiny 2 because they got rid of it.
That one exception aside, every campaign is basically, hey, what are those aliens doing over there? They might cause us trouble in the future, let's go get them. And then you go get them. But they save the biggest, baddest guy for the 6-player non-matchmaking raid, so you don't even get to accomplish that empty goal unless you have 5 other friends who also play Destiny and are decently good at it and all have the same 3 to 4 hour time slot to play some stupid raid that's probably not even going to give you the gear you wanted because it's all up to RNG. I can't tell you the amount of times I've nearly had an aneurysm while trying to process one of Bungie's narrative decisions. Like what happened to the other planets when Beyond Light released. Apparently, some kind of darkness magic from the new ice planet Europa caused us to lose contact with several other planets like Mars. So of course, we go to Europa and play around in the snow, because why should we ever check in on those other planets? I don't know, maybe because Mars is home to the War Mind, which I'm pretty sure is important to the Vanguard because we saved it from a worm god once, but oh well, the power went out. Guess that entire planet is gone forever.
The most dangerous weapon in this system is on this planet.
It's a broken weapon. Too dangerous to be left alone and too unpredictable to wield.
And the worst part is, the world and lore in this game are super fascinating. It's just the surface level narrative that does a horrendous job utilizing those things. But that's sort of the case for this entire game. Destiny 1 hooked me with its promise of an ever-expanding looter-shooter MMO set in space. And as I explored it, the scope only seemed to grow. The world felt like it could be hiding so many interesting secrets that I just had to stick around to discover. And I did, for 9 years. And at some points, it almost felt like how I imagined it would. But as time wore on, I became less hopeful that this would ever become what I wanted it to. It had things that I liked briefly, but most of those things have been removed and replaced, not necessarily by something better, but something newer. And that's not just because Bungie is evil and they hate me, it's also because they're making an MMO. This means that no matter what they do, they're going to create that sort of typical MMO trap. Pull in lots of players early on and slowly accumulate. As time goes on, the game becomes harder to get into and even harder to get out of. Tend too much to the new players and you'll neglect the truly loyal ones. But the more you cater towards veterans, the less approachable the game becomes. And Bungie's solution to this problem was to constantly trim down fat, which a lot of other MMOs do too. But I have a big issue with this method, because while getting into a game can be overwhelming if it has lots of content, features, and mechanics to learn, it's just downright confusing if those things are randomly missing like Swiss cheese. What's happening with the story? Nobody knows. Just play the newest DLC and pretend you know what went down in the previous $600 of removed storyline. Oh, you don't understand why you just created an account and you're level 1,600? Well, that's just a number to tell you how much you've missed out on. Don't worry about it. I get that new players want to play with their high-leveled friends, but instead of removing the early game, why don't you just make it more enjoyable and rewarding enough for veteran players to want to replay it with their newcomer friends? Playing Destiny 2 has been one of my most profoundly miserable gaming experiences. Why? 2,000 hours. 9 years, $700, and I'm somewhat low level with suboptimal gear, and I'm missing a subclass that everyone else seems to have. Next season, I'll be at the power floor, because the floor will rise so much that it undoes any work that I've done this season, basically resetting me to level 0. Much of my gear will become irrelevant, and the old systems that I've invested substantial time into will be removed. The PvP landscape will change drastically, alongside a host of small UI changes or pointless features like commendations or guardian level. But as seasons pass by, tiny, very fixable issues will linger and drive me insane. Keep in mind that it took Bungie until only a couple of seasons ago to give old exotic weapons PvP kill trackers when mastered worked. This is a little number that took them years to add. Shader thumbnails are still horribly inaccurate. Menus still close when you're arriving somewhere. Oh my gosh, please make this.
I cannot stand when it kicks you out when you're in the middle of trying to change anything in this customization menu and you get kicked as soon as you land somewhere. It's the most annoying thing, or one of the most annoying things about this game right now.
Stop. These things are not that bad, but for how many years are they bearable? And those are just the little things. See, every season introduces a new exotic armor piece for each class, but most of the time, one or more of them are immediately removed for weeks on end because of some glitch that Bungie apparently can't seem to figure out. But suspiciously enough, whenever there's a glitch that allows players to exploit something to their benefit, Bungie is able to figure it out in just a couple days. If having cancer gave you better RNG, Bungie would find the cure in like 15 minutes. But whenever a new exotic that people...
Recently I know a lot of people, there was this thing that happened in the, what was it, the one of the the duality dungeon, where like you could make one of the bosses like slip off during this one encounter, and like you would basically be able to farm it to be able to get like some really good armor, and literally like within a week they had that fixed. But there's other problems that have been lasting much longer than that, so yeah, that's pretty surprising.
people are hyped for is more powerful than expected, just take it away until someone feels like fixing it. Now, maybe I shouldn't assume that Bungie is being lazy. Maybe these issues really do take weeks to resolve. But if you still give Bungie that much credit, keep in mind, it took them until just very recently to fix the tunnels in the EDZ. Go over to the tunnels, and you'll have a hard time staying in the map. This place is a wreck. I could probably find 30 or 40 areas in here to get out of the map. That was a clip from a video series I did on my old channel, where I would go to a planet and find 3 of my own out-of-bounds glitches. This turned out to be so easy, I was able to upload these daily. I had found 3 glitches on every planet in only a week. Of course, when I went to check the tunnels for this video, Bungie had cleaned it up, but it sat in a frighteningly glitchy state for about 5 years. And while I haven't done videos like this on the newest planets, I know for a fact that they are just as glitchy, if not glitchier, than the maps that
I mean, to be honest, I literally have never been to like this part of the map that he's talking about. So that's not something that would ever bother me, because I've never been there and don't plan on going there, because there's no activities that require me to go there as far as right now. But I will say that, one difference between, a game like Destiny and a game like Call of Duty, which I played for a really long time, is that you will hear that once he posted these videos and told people about what was going on, it took them a while, but they went back and at least cleaned it up a little bit. Whereas these things would still be going right now with Activision, and they still are.
That I've already covered. In fact, when I
I
played
mean,
through
with
the
Call of
little
Duty,
free
not
intro
Activision.
mission to Lightfall, I was really impressed with how pretty Neptune was, until I found this just sitting in plain sight, which made me wonder, how long would it take to be straight up out of the map? About 2.5 minutes later, I decided that I wasn't going to purchase Lightfall. But despite hating this game, I also love it. The PvP offers a depth to build crafting and strategy that I haven't found in any other first-person shooter. So when I feel like pulling off some crazy 1000 IQ plays and feeling good about myself, I can always turn to Destiny 2. And I definitely feel an obligation to at least check in every once in a while after all that I've invested. But for the thousands of hours and hundreds of dollars, all I really have to show for it is some cool cosmetics. So, in summary, don't play Destiny 2 unless you hate liking things. Of course, you can try it out if it looks fun, but just take it from me, this game has an uncountable number of issues, most of which are here to stay, or
But he's
get
still playing though,
worse.
right?
Well, I'm gonna leave it there. I got a little derailed in some places, and there's still a lot that I could talk about. But hopefully you could relate to some of this if you already play Destiny, or if you're just getting into it, you know what to look out for. Anyways, I'll see you later. Thanks.
All right, so yeah, I mean, really well put together video. I definitely agree with a lot of the things that he was talking about. There's a few things that I feel like were kind of more like a personal thing, but yeah, good video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will be playing some more Destiny 2 content. We'll be putting some more up, so hopefully you guys did enjoy this as like a first step into that, doing some reaction videos. My son somehow got his hands on my Elgato, so I will see how I'm going to figure out recording this gameplay, but we're going to get it done no matter what. So thank you guys for watching, and appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.